here's some general best practices to keep in mind when fine-tuning a model. So first, fine-tuning performs better with more high-quality examples. So the more high-quality examples you have, the better result you're going to get. There is a phrase with data analytics, garbage in, garbage out. What that means is if you have bad data going in, you're going to get bad results out of that data. So you want to make sure your results are as high quality as possible. OpenAI suggests using at least a few hundred high-quality examples vetted by humans. This is important because you want to actually have humans go through and verify that every piece of data in your data set is good, and by doing that, you're going to get the best possible result with your fine-tuned model. So even though OpenAI does suggest at least a few hundred, they say as few as 50 examples should make an impact on the model and give you a better result than the base model. You also want to manually review for offensive or inaccurate examples by humans, and doing this just to make sure that you aren't skewing your model in some way by providing bad training data. You want to start with a small data set to quickly evaluate performance. So don't start with 10,000. Don't even start with 1,000. Start with a much smaller data set, and that's going to allow you to quickly and cheaply verify if you're making improvements to your base model. And here, comparing performance of fine-tuned model to pre-trained model, this is what I was just talking about. So you want to run it on a small data set and then compare the performance by running prompts on the pre-trained or base model, comparing it to the fine-tuned model to see if you are getting an improvement there. I'm going to go through a few case studies of companies that are using a fine-tuned model through OpenAI. And here's the source. It's openai.com/blog/customize-GPT-3. So you can go to that link to get more information on these companies and how they are using their fine-tuned models. But I'm going to kind of give you an overview real quick to give you an idea and to start to give you ideas of how you might be able to use your own data to fine-tune your own model for your own company. So first is Keeper Tax. This is a company that helps freelancers with their taxes. And what they're doing is taking all of the data from customers that are submitting their tax data, and they're training models to identify easy to miss tax write-offs. So what they're doing is adding 500 new training examples each week. So taking in data from their customers, fine-tuning their model with that data, and as a result, they're increasing the accuracy of their models. And this is an example of a company using proprietary data that only they have access to improve their AI models, which is going to give them a competitive advantage versus other companies that may be wanting to compete with them using AI, but they don't have the fine-tuned AI models that Keeper Tax or that this company specifically has. So that's kind of a way to think about how companies can create fine-tuned models using data that only they have access to create a competitive advantage. So next we have a company called Viable. What they do is take in customer feedback from reviews or any other source that companies have, and then create reports that summarizes all that feedback and gives suggestions for the company to improve. So by using fine-tuned models, they've improved their feedback accuracy from 66% to 90%. So they're significantly increasing the quality and accuracy of their feedback using fine-tuned models. Elicit is a company that helps people answer research questions from academic papers. So you can ask it a question and then it will use the academic papers to give it a response. So by using a fine-tuned model of GPT-3, they outperform prompt design with the base model and made it 24% easier to understand, 17% more accurate, and 33% better overall. So hopefully these companies give you some ideas of how companies are using fine-tuned models within their own workflows to improve the services that they're offering to customers. So one more thing I wanted to cover is what fine-tuning is not as good for. So it's not as good for searching large bodies of text such as books or large documents and finding specific answers. So one example of that is askmybook.com, and we can go there real quick. So this is a website that takes the information from the book The Minimalist Entrepreneur, and then you can ask it a question, and I can tell because I looked at the code here on GitHub that it's using the embeddings model to search the book, and then it is using that to help us get an answer to the question that we're asking here. If you ask a question, it's then going to start reading out the answer to you because they have another cool AI model that is doing that. So it's not just giving you the text answer, it's giving it as if the author is speaking the answer to you. But this is an example of something that embeddings would allow you to do and likely allow you to do better than fine-tuning a model. So you could break down the text in that book into blocks of 1,500 words or less, and then you could upload that with a blank prompt. So like we have the prompt completion, you could have a blank prompt and then upload the text here as completions. However, that does not tend to give you the best results. So that isn't necessarily an ideal solution for this. So the better solution is embeddings for something like that, and that is something that will be covered in another course in the future with No Code MBA. So I hope that this slideshow was helpful and kind of give you an overview of what fine-tuning is, what the benefits are, and how we do it. So in the next video, we're going to go through a real example and actually fine-tune our own models using the OpenAI API and go from start to finish so you'll have your own fine-tuned model to call the API with and work with.